The Mishnah in the second parak of Pirkei Avos, Mishnah Beis, the Mishnah has a fascinating, springboard for a fascinating conversation, fascinating discussion. The Mishnah says that one should combine Torah and Derech Eretz. One should combine Torah with Derech Eretz. And together, combining Torah with Derech Eretz, one can mishkachas avon, prevent, literally forget, but prevent averos. I want to share with you two different perspectives on this Mishnah. Rav Chaim Volozhiner and Rav Hirsch uses as an opportunity to share a fascinating machlokes and hashkafa between these two great Gedolei Torah, two great Jewish thinkers, and two great central members of the Chachmei HaMasorah. Rav Chaim Volozhiner, maybe I'm reading a little bit into it, but I think it's pretty fair, points out that Yafet HaMatorim Derech Eretz, almost as if Torah is critical when you go get a job. It's like best to stay in yeshiva, but if you get a job, at least make sure it's Talmud Torah and Derech Eretz. It shouldn't just be Derech Eretz by itself. Quotes the Gemara Maseches Brachos, where Rava tells his Talmidim you should sit and work 2 months of the year, around the equinox, once in Nisan, once in Tishrei, and if you farm well and do your work, then you can sit and learn Torah the other 10 months of the year and not have to worry. Don't think even when you have to work you shouldn't be learning. Even when you're involved in work, you should still have your heart in Talmud Torah, as if the key element of life is Talmud Torah. Talmud Torah is what's central and critical. One should be sitting and learning, and that's it. Maybe at the end, the last line is, it can't be exclusively Torah, it can't be only Torah, there has to be some level of balance, you can't be poverty stricken. In other words, according to Rav Chaim, according to Chaim Volozhiner, you spend most of your time learning Torah. Torah is critical and central, the most prominent thing one should be doing with their time. But you can't be fully rooted in bitachon 100%. Even that's, irresponsible and reckless. You have to be somewhat involved in getting a job in Parnasa and some level of balance. By contrast, Rav Shimon Hirsch, in his Siddur, if I'm not mistaken, writes on Pirkei Avos, and in it he describes how that the goal of Talmud Torah and Derech Eretz is different. It's much more about learning from the world, learning from history, engaging in the world. I don't want to say Torah Mad, because Rav Hirsch was not a Torah Mad, but Torah Derech Eretz. Rav Shimon Hirsch is named his hashkafa, or was named after this line of Pirkei Avos. One should be involved in working and embracing and learning from and simultaneously involved in the world of Torah. That is a major machlokus over here, which has really important how it manifests itself in other areas. What does it mean Torah Lishma? If you look in Rav Chaim Volozhiner in his famous Sefer Nefesh Chaim, he talks about Torah Lishma means where it's Torah for Torah's sake and nothing else. Only L'Shem Torah, nothing else. And according to Rav Hirsch, Lishma is Lomod Aminas. Lishmar Velasos L'Kayim is called Divrei Talmud Torah. Aminas Lasos, to learn and to teach and to inspire and to educate. And frankly, there's two different world views over here. Rav Chaim Volozhiner and the Ruach Chaim and the Nefesh Chaim believes that the goal of life is immense in Torah, is involvement in Torah, to sit and to learn Torah for Torah's sake. That is the end. And according to Rav Hirsch, it's just a means to end. Torah is a stepping stone in order to live lives based on Torah, to know, to keep halacha, to inspire, to internalize the hashkafas Torah, to live lives based upon the hashkafas Torah, to inspire and educate the world. According to Rav Chaim Volozhiner, Torah is more of the ends. According to Rav Hirsch, Torah is more of the means. That is a fascinating central machlokes as to the goal of Torah. Is Torah what we're supposed to do, or does it facilitate the lifestyle we're supposed to live, which is what we're supposed to do? And that may really boil down to this Mishnah over here. According to Chaim Volozhiner, really should be sitting and learning. And if you have to go out and get a job, so take Torah with you as much as possible. Don't abandon it. And even while you're working, have Torah on your mind, because Torah is central. Torah is the end. according to Rav Hirsch, Derech Eretz, Talmud Torah and Derech Eretz is not about how much one should learn, but rather a philosophy, an ideology, one that embraces a much more broad worldly view, one where one again learns from, gives to, takes the Torah and goes out into the world, learns Hashkafas Torah from history, understands Hashem's perspective, and emanates it to the world, and that really is reflective of his perspective on life in general. So that's a fascinating machlokas between Rav Hirsch versus Rav Chaim Volozhiner. One more small little point along the way over here. Anyone who is amel with the tzibur, there it should be l'shem shemayim, and therefore shizchus avosa, and therefore the zchus of your others will facilitate v'tzid kasam u'med and it'll last forever. Fine. One small idea, which is zchus avosa misayim zchus avos. So what is zchus avos? Just a small insight. What is zchus avos? Why is that fair? I happen to have been born biologically into the right family, so therefore I'm like a part of special, the country club because I was born Jewish, so God has extra zchus for me. Perhaps. You love your grandchildren more than you love other people's grandchildren. You love your children more than other people's children. You love the whole world, but there's a certain deeper connection. Perhaps if I had a good friend, I'd be kinder to his children than others. But I heard another idea from a fine Talmud Chacham from England. He was part of the Gateshead Yeshiva. His name is Rav Mordechai Miller. And he suggested that the idea of zchus avos is not per se because you had big tzaddikim, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, so we prioritize you, but rather, well, let me say this way, you understand what zchus avos is from the context. Where do we and do we not say zchus avos? He pointed out you don't really say zchus avos when it comes to parnasa. You don't really say zchus avos when it comes to even refuah shalema. You don't say zchus avos when it comes to looking for a shidduch. When do we say zchus avos? We seem to say zchus avos when we are trying to accomplish something big, our national goal, our national dream. When we're trying to return to Yerushalayim, turn to Eretz Yisrael, try to bring the Geula, try to build Beis HaMikdash, try to have kibbutz galis, try to bring the Mashiach. These are the times we use zchus avos. Hashem, remember Yerushalayim because it's zchus avos. Why? Because the avos laid the framework, laid the groundwork. We're just kind of following in the trails that they've blazed. It's our responsibility to continue in their path. And we use zchus avos to accomplish the goals that they initially set out on. We use zchus avos, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you made a deal with the avos, you made a deal with us at Har Sinai, you made a deal with us for Ladorei Doros. It's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to bring the world to fruition, to bring Mashiach, to have the whole world know who you are, to have the world live in a moral, ethical society based upon the values of you, based upon your values, based upon Torah values. If that's the case, we're looking for zchus avos to help ourselves accomplish your goal, which we made a deal with the avos for. And if that's the case, it could be that's what zchus avos is all about. That may be a little bit what's going on in this mission over here. It's Amelim imahem l'shem shamayim, amelim imat tzibur l'shem shamayim, to help the tzibur, to help the masses, to help Klal Yisrael move in the right direction, l'shem shamayim. This may be a little